Happy Monday. How are all my gray curious friends? Another week, short week. The short weeks are always like they're always a long short week. You know, there's always so much you're trying to cram in and so much going on. I wanted to say happy Monday, and I wanted to pop on here because I watched Erica Johnston. If you are a gray hair channel fan, I'm sure everybody has watched her channel. She's been gone for a little bit and she just came back and she colored her hair. So she was my gateway into gray hair YouTube. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. I would be willing to bet every single person probably watching this right now has probably started with her channel and watched that whole process and ended up doing that same thing. What I did not remember, which when she was talking, I did remember afterwards, is there were three things that struck me that I want to talk about that she said. The first one being that she had used the overtone to color her hair and did like the rose gold, and then it didn't come out. Coloring her hair back to brunette, and then being obsessed with your hair. So the first one being that she used that overtone, which made me realize how, like, I'm just so thankful that I didn't. It is the classic self-sabotaging moment, I think, is what it is. When you have, I mean, we have to be real. We've been coloring our hair, having something to do with our hair for, in my case, 25 years. So you get to this point where you just get, I don't know, maybe it's boredom, maybe it's you just want something different. You know, for me, I was like really itching for that mermaid hair. And I can totally relate. And I could tell that there were a lot of other people that were kind of relating to that too, where it's like you just kind of get used to doing stuff. And then when you don't have anything going on there, I mean, I don't know, it can kind of focus to other things like your face or, you know, I don't know, whatever, your body, your workout, whatever it is. But when you don't have anything going on up there, you got to fill it with something, right? So I think that, you know, a lot of times getting to that gray hair process is kind of like doing therapy. You're kind of you're unconditioning all these little belief systems that you've kind of been raised to believe, that, you know, you have to be this age to have gray hair, and you got to do this and you got to do that, blah 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 blah. So anyway, you're deprogramming that. That's kind of like your therapy going into the gray hair, and then you're like, okay, well, this is how I'm going to do it. You're, you know, you're getting in communities, you're checking out different people and how they're doing it and different styles and patterns, and so you're kind of figuring out how you're going to do yours. Are you going to do highlights or lowlights? If you're new here, I did highlights and lowlights. So I knew that I was getting these streaks in, and so I did a couple of highlights, which, I mean, my highlights are almost not even existent anymore. They're down here at the very bottom. And then I did, at about 6 months, I did some lowlights that kind of breaks up this demarcation line so that it's not so, you know, now it kind of looks like a style, totally by accident. And whatever, if you're gonna go cold turkey, you're gonna do highlights, lowlights, whatever it is that floats your boat. But then that's kind of like your coaching, your mentor, your inspiration. But nobody ever wants to talk about the self-sabotaging devil that is always there. I'm rocking my yin yang new favorite jacket of the season as a reminder that there is, I mean, you are going to have a self-sabotaging moment, and so you have got to plan for it. It's in everything. I mean, even when I quit smoking cigarettes, I was like at the 2-day mark, the 2-month mark, the 2-year mark, there were always like these little points of weakness. And I think that you have to plan for those little points of weakness. And if you have some kind of a plan, it's much easier to mitigate it, because you have to still validate it, because it is true, because it's coming up and it's valid. Anything that comes up that's being is being because it's there. But you've got to also have kind of what your game plan is as far as what your end goal is, and or not goal, or whatever it is that you want to use to navigate your way. So I felt like it made me very happy to listen to her talk about the, I mean, it did make me happy to hear her talk about the rose gold situation, and that, you know, I could just tell that she was completely deflated because it didn't come out, and it ruined her hair. I mean, her hair was amazing. I mean, it is amazing. Like I said, I'm sure everybody has watched her channel, and she's got like that thick hair. I mean, super thick, where she could literally do the blonde and then rock blonde out to gray. Because I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at her stuff to figure out why she actually quit dyeing in the first place. But I'd be willing to bet that it wasn't because of hair loss. And maybe it was just because of maintenance, because I know she's got some kids or whatever. I don't know. But I wouldn't think that that would be the category that she was in. And then, so I think that that was the first part of the self-sabotage, was that, you know, we didn't plan for it, or maybe she just had to be the first to go to realize that that stuff doesn't really come out. Anyway, so then the second part would be that her coloring her hair. And so I think it was a twofold. So she, because of that rose gold, it created deposits, then it kind of made this yellowing that happened, which folded into her not being happy at all with her hair. So she's pulling it back in a ponytail. She's like, she wears it in a ponytail all the time. So during the pandemic, she's got this mask on, and so she just looks like full-on old lady because she's got, you know, the gray hair and your face is covered. So if you're somebody that is enjoying like a younger face with the gray hair, it's like you're kind of losing that benefit if you have to cover your face all the time. And so I can absolutely, she had some comment with somebody at the drugstore or something about them saying that they were in the same era or something, but in a moment of weakness, it could be, I don't know, your hormones per your cycle. I mean, I've been tracking my period for, oh golly, many years, almost 10 years now. And I can almost always tell you if I get sensitive about anything, I can go onto that app and I know exactly what phase I'm in. It never fails. It's kind of sad too, because, you know, you kind of want to think that you're not run by your biology, but we are. We absolutely are. So anyway, it could be a bunch of stuff. But anyway, that kind of was a twofold. So you have where you're not happy because your beautiful silver hair now has got this yellowing. Now you have this comment, and then boom, 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 you need a change. And so now we're back to the brunette hair. And so she had put in a couple of videos that she had some kind of like follow-up that she kind of just did, almost like a confession booth, which is why I love my car, is kind of like my confession booth. But she kind of just did some just so that she could document the time. And you could tell even after she did color her hair and it was dark again, that she felt better that it was dark. But you can it's like you almost can't even enjoy that it's dark, because I mean, it's almost instantaneously you're thinking about, oh my gosh, okay, here we are 2 weeks in, and now here's the roots, and now I'm literally packing my bags and, you know, ready to get back onto that hamster wheel and start doing this whole thing all over again, because at the same time, you don't want to, you know, let it grow all out. I don't know. It will be interesting to see what she ends up doing, if she ends up saying, I'm going to just let it grow back out or not. Because if you're looking at it, I mean, if I was looking at it from her perspective, she's got like this yellowing, so she's already kind of having to let it go out. So it's like, do you want to look like that, or would you rather it just look like brown hair that you're letting grow out? I mean, I don't know. I think I would probably do the same thing if I was in her position. Then the last thing that she said, which I thought was totally right on, and I'm sure that any of the Silver Sisters that are on here, that also are on my IG or do the Instagram, it's the obsession and the push for content creating, and how she felt like she just kind of ran out of stuff to say with the Silver Sister stuff, and then she kind of felt like she was more obsessed with her hair. And let me tell you, it is hilarious to look back through my phone, since I've had, you know, my phone photo albums for many, many years now. And like, never did I ever really take selfies or was that obsessed with like watching the grow out. And so there is, again, rocking the yin yang, because there is a marination of truly allowing yourself to transform and really being in the process, and then also not allowing it to let yourself get carried away, in the sense of that's all you're going to be identified with. And that's a tricky line. I mean, it's a really, really tricky line. I don't know how you navigate that. And it'll be interesting again to watch her, because she's got a lot of subscribers, and I'm interested to see what her what she's going to do, because she's kind of trying to figure out which direction she wants to go with her channel. And I think all of us can kind of relate to that. And that's why I think that these are all, I really want my channel to be like I don't know, I don't want to call it a midlife crisis support group for women, but a little bit that way. Now that I'm in here, I can understand why people freak out and what they do, and how that works. But at the same time, I am very mindful. If you do follow me on Instagram, I don't even have my comments half the time. I mean, I pretty much have my comments on the memes and stuff, because I can see these reels get really kind of like salesy and sleazy. And then it's like, you have to, there's like this push for, I don't know. I don't want it to ever become something that is forced, because I think that you absolutely can tell when it's forced, and it's just kind of like it's like you're watching the radio. It's like they're just giving you what they need to give you, to, I don't know, push you to burn out, I guess. And I think that's we're going to get away from that. I think that the world is splitting. I'm sorry, I got to go a little woo-woo here, but it is a little bit that way. I mean, even some of the big content creators that I admire, I'm noticing that they're doing it when there's something actually to do, and it's not necessarily on a schedule. I think schedules and discipline is absolutely important, but I don't think consistency is always linear, in the sense that I think showing up, you need to show up, but I mean, show up with something, right? Don't just, just be. I don't know. That's terrible too, because again, it's a paradox. You do want to just be, but I can just understand how you can become very self-obsessed, and how you can get on that, content where they're just forcing it, and nobody's willing to play a long game, because there's no incentive to play a long game unless you're just doing it out of the love of doing it, which, I mean, that's really what I want this place to be. I want it to be a safe space for women. I want us to be able to bitch and complain, and I get people that every once in a while that talk about my language, and I've even thought about that, kind of like, well, if I didn't cuss at all, maybe I would, I could really push on my YouTube, but that's not me. It's not me. And I don't cuss every single video, but sometimes, damn it, it's a little bit more fiery, and I don't want to. I don't know. I just feel like I've spent the last 4 years really, I like to call it my monk mode. And I just don't want to sell myself short for, 3 reels a week. That's not how it is. And I don't want to hide the good things or the bad things, really. And, I think that that's where we're going. The two worlds split. There's going to be people that are going to enjoy that, very kind of cookie cutter style, very production quality stuff. And then there's going to be people that are going to be attracted to my channel, which I just want to be like, we're FaceTiming, you're a friend in the car, and we're just having a conversation. I mean, I want to know how everybody's feeling. I'm not like I've said, I'm not the beauty guru. I do have a beauty guru that lives, and I got to get him in the car. That he is on my Mac. If you're watching these, I'm coming after you, because I do need him to get in here, and I do want to do something fun for like somebody like me who really isn't really into makeup or hair or anything, but could use somebody that could, I don't know, I want him to kind of look through my stuff and tell me what's good, what's bad, and gives me like a couple everyday looks and, you know, stuff that I can kind of work with, that it's like practical, because some of this stuff is just not practical. I don't know. I don't know. That's just how I feel. Anyway, I think back to Erica Johnston. I think she's super practical. I'm excited to see what she does with her channel. But again, the 3 lessons I learned from her is like, thank goodness I didn't do the overtone. I'm so happy I didn't do it, because I really think that was a self-sabotaging moment that I kind of was able to get past. 2 is that the looking old and triggering comments, you're never going to be past them. There's always going to be a time where 1 or 2 of them are going to get under your skin. And like I said, it could be where you are in your cycle. So that's just a total side note. If you don't track your cycle, track it. Especially as we are all moving towards perimenopause, it is so important to know, you know, just to kind of get a handle on it. It might be pretty humbling, because you're going to realize that, you know, you're pretty predictable, unfortunately. And then 3, that stay real about, if you can, about what you really want. Because if you don't really know what you want, I mean, everybody knows what they don't want, right? Everybody can tell you what they don't want. But what you want, you got to stay focused on it, because that's what you'll bring more of. And so you got to stay focused of what you want. So, you know, for instance, on mine, like I really do I do want to be part of this community, but I do not want to be obsessed with this community. And I think a lot of people would feel that same way, but it's very easy to get sucked into this whole creator world. That's why I don't really spend a lot of time on Instagram, excuse me, in the comments on Instagram, and that I do focus more on my comments on YouTube. So I've had people ask me, you know, what other platforms. I don't have Facebook. I actually quit that in 2018. And then TikTok, I'm just not in, I can't. Because I do want to maintain somewhat of a balance of my life, but I do also want to be supportive. And I feel like with being more focused on one platform, and for me, it's YouTube, I can actually try to add value and talk to people. Like, in a, you know, Instagram is a little too fast for me, and it feels a little too, you know, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Sometimes it just feels a little icky. And so I feel like with YouTube, I can get, there's just more of the women I feel like that are more like-minded. Maybe it's the more women that just are on YouTube. I know we are the biggest growing group of people coming to YouTube. So I don't know. I think it's more, I don't know. I need something that's a little bit slower pace, that doesn't require that instant, you know, Instagramminess. Because some weeks I'm good, and some weeks it just takes a little bit longer to get back to you. And I feel like with YouTube, it's like genuine people that, you know, want to have those conversations and to be supportive of each other. So anyway, I am completely babbling. This is the bottom line is, one day at a time. One day at a time. You're never, some days you're just going to be stronger. Some days you're not going to be stronger. And so if we just admit that that's, you know, there's good and bad in every day, then it helps us prepare a little bit better to be on the lookout for when that other side starts creeping in to take us off our path. Okay? So I think that's all. I think that was a lot. So anyway, everybody have a great short week, long week. And I'll see you on the flip side of Turkey Day. Everybody have a great week.
Strawberry on my lips.